last 10 years.
Okay. So how is ODM is it better than rules perspective when it comes to DX, like the development experience?
Yeah, it's much simpler.
Okay.
Very much simpler, and we have this. I don't know much about rules, but we have where the business can directly go and modify the rules, and they can deploy it into the production environment without any help of a developer if it is a small rule changes.
Okay.
So it's more matured and more capable. We can run it in both batch and real times, both REST and SOAP formats and all those things. They're all in built up.
Okay. So actually, yeah, I was actually having trouble finding any courses when it comes to rules, and I mean, there was some business rule management courses, but then all of them were like not very, accurate or accurate to the work which I wanted. Anyways, but that was just like the introduction. I just wanted an introduction for that and back in November, December. But now we can continue with Java, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. So this course is particularly intended for the Java certifications that we'll discuss in the next slides. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So you know Java, Roshan, by any chance? You know Java?
Yeah, I was taught Java, but then I wouldn't say I know it because I wasn't taught all Java from day to year within 2 or 3 weeks. So nothing went into my brain.
Okay. So as you know, right, Java is very popular programming language that was introduced in late 90s or early 2000s by Sun Microsystems, and then it got acquired by Oracle recently. And the statistics says that almost 90-95% of the applications that currently working in this world are using Java in one or the other ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so right from web applications to the apps that we use daily to the Android system. In fact, Android system internally uses some of the Java APIs. So it's very popular. The popularity of Java stems from the fact that you can run in any operating system. For example, if you work on the Windows development environment, that is the .NET, right? You cannot deploy it into a Red Hat system. You need to have a Windows server to run a .NET application. But the strength of Java at the time of developing is that you can develop it in Windows machine, you can run it in Red Hat server, or for that matter Solaris, or for that matter any operating systems. And there are multiple flavors of Java. It's not just there is only one version of Java that is available. No, there is Oracle Java, there is Red Hat Java, there is OpenJDK, and so on and so forth. So this is an open platform, but why do we have these many platforms is that when you are working in any big enterprise or anything, we need some support system, right? So they have developed their own flavor of Java, and they'll provide the support for the environment and the development efforts. If you face any issue or anything, the Oracle, either the Oracle or Red Hat, or for that matter any other company, will provide some support, and they will charge you for some amount. Recently, I don't know whether you know this or not, Oracle has increased their support fees, because of which people are migrating from Oracle JDK to the Red Hat JDK. But if you notice, the amount of effort that is required is very minimal. You just need to recompile using the Red Hat version of Java and then deploy. That's all. In fact, if you need not deploy also, the same code if you deploy also, it should be working in 99.9% of the cases. Rest 0.1, because of the some API differences or anything, they may have to make a change. Otherwise, it's a simple, straightforward transition. That's the strength of Java. That's why it is very popular.
Okay.
And there is OpenJDK also, which is very open. It's an open source kind of thing. You understood it, right? So that's the strength of Java. Which is very user friendly, environment friendly, and then it is basically an open source. So anybody and everybody can develop applications using Java, and it is one of the first programming languages to comply with the complete object oriented programming languages, like basic object-oriented principles like encapsulation, data abstraction, high inheritance, and all those things are fully implemented. And whatever learnings we have from the past, like C or C++ or anything like any and other programming languages, are completely fixed in the Java. So you don't see those kind of problems in Java. So it's very stable kind of thing. And currently we have version 20 or something. I don't remember recall the version exactly, but it has matured over the years. Okay.
Yeah.
And all when we start with the core Java basics, like what are the basic syntaxes, what is how do we write the classes, how do we modularize the code, what is the best way to handle code for. So the problem which we generally face is that manageability of the code. People will move organizations and you will not have control over the code, right? So what is the best way to manage codes? We'll discuss few things on that also. And also what are the constructs, what are loops, what are conditions, basically what are the basic building blocks of Java, how do we go about it, and what are the pillars of Java, like the object-oriented programming principles, and how we achieve those things in Java. Those are the things we'll cover in the initial classes for the initial understanding, because you need to know, I don't know your background, but you need to know at least you should be able to write a small program. You should be able to execute it, and you should be able to tweak the code based on the requirement. For example, if I give you a collection of say 10 students, and if you have to find the highest marks of a particular student, how do you use the available methods, loops, conditions? How do you use them to iterate over a collection, and how do you figure out what is required? You should be able to write this, right? So otherwise, you the certification is it will be a distant thing. First, you need to understand what is written, how to write. Then we'll go further and we'll see how to crack the certification. That's the step two. The step one is to write the code by yourself, so that if you look at somebody else's code, you will understand what they have written and why they have written so, and is there a better way to do it, and what is the outcome of that particular piece of code. You should be able to judge, you should be able to understand, not judge, but maybe to understand what is that, you need to understand all these basic principles. So will the basic the basic we'll cover these basics also. We'll not directly jump onto the certification and say this is the syllabus, so on and so forth. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions till now?
Yeah. So one question is, you mean to say when we're coming to Red Hat Java, Oracle Java, and OpenJDK, so you can interchange the code from Java, Red Hat Java to Oracle Java, and it won't make any compilation errors, like any compilation issues. Probably.
That's why I said 99.9%, right? Not 100%, because
100%.
few of the methods may not be supported in one of the versions, but the most commonly used methods, classes, and all will be available in all the classes. They can be used interchangeably. For example, if you look at the split method, the common thing we use for is strings the split, right? Split is the Java API gives this split method, what is the signature, what should be the output, so on and so forth would be mentioned inside the split method. How they have implemented internally may be different for OpenJDK versus Red Hat, for the argument's sake, but as a developer, the way you use method and the way the method behaves will be the same.
Okay.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
Did it answer your question?
Yeah.
So next one is as the step 2, we will go with the actual certification. The OCJP. That time, I think it started as Sun Certified Java Developer, right? SCJP, and then we named it as OCJP syllabus. As part of this, they generally check for the basic uh, programming blocks, like the basic programming things, like how do you write a for loop, how do you write an if loop, how do you if condition, how do you write a while, you know those kind of things. So as we might have already discussed those things as the basic building blocks of Java. We will discuss furthermore, also maybe with exceptions also, like what are the runtime exceptions, what are the user defined exceptions, what are compile time exceptions, what are the different ways, how do we handle exceptions, so on and so forth. All those things we'll discuss as part of this OCJP certification thing. And this is the syllabus actually. What are the different data types we have, what are the operators, decision controls, there are ternary operators, there are if conditions, like that, right? So how do you use a ternary operator instead of an if condition if you have to write an if else? Those things. We'll discuss all those things as part of this OCAJP certification. And mostly we'll be doing it in a uh, uh, homework kind of, classwork homework kind of thing. If we cover an for loop, to write a for loop, then we will ask you to work on few examples, like I might ask you to write 2-3 programs, and we'll review whether what is written versus is there a better way to write. Uh, it's not about fault finding, but is there a better way, what is the best practice, kind of things.
Okay.
Then once you complete this, if you go to any dumps or anything, you should be able to relate and should be able to answer for yourself about the answer, the right answer. That's the intent.
Yeah.
Similarly, the next thing is this is also the OCA certification, where we have the collections, uh, the file IO, concurrency, threads, and all those things. This is the OCAJP. Sorry, I think I forgot to change this subject there. It's the next thing. What is that? OCA? WP. What is it called?
That is OCDJP, you mean?
Yeah, that's what. That's why. Um, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I forgot to change the heading. This is the next level where you will be able to should be able to work as a web developer. For developing a so to be a web developer, you should be able to connect to a database, right? You use ODBC drivers, JDBC, JDBC, ODBC drivers. How do you use drivers? How do you load the classes from the drivers? How do you establish a connection? How will you get the connection? How will you make operations and all those things? We'll discuss as part of this next certification. Generics, collections, lambdas, and all those things. Also the exceptions and assertions, IO, the basic. How do you do the basic file operations? Like if there is a file, how do you read the contents of the file? How will you write the contents of the file? What are the problems you face when you have this read write operations? How do you avoid those things? Like that, there can be multiple challenges, right? So how do you resolve those challenges one by one in this whole process of reading files, writing files? Um, and as you know, right, these are the common things that we do in our daily life. We'll attach files while sending in mails. We'll that is also a way of sending data from one place to another. So you are attaching a file to a server, right? So the file is saved somewhere, and while opening, you are reading the file from the cloud to your local, right? So how do they do that? What is file streams? How do the file streams write content to a file, bytes, what is byte stream, and all those things? We'll learn extensively about that. Along with that, the Java concurrency, like what is concurrency, what are the deadlocks, how do we avoid deadlocks, how do you so on and so forth. What is localization, those things. So broadly, this is the syllabus we do, and as I said, we'll do it like a classwork, homework, kind of combination of both, where we'll be given exercises and we'll we'll ask you to do a work, and then we'll review it together, and then we'll uh, proceed further.
Okay.
This is a OCP JP, huh? This second one? Yeah, OCP. The professional Java programmer, right?
Correct. I forgot to change the heading in the
Yeah,
second
no
slide.
problem. Yeah, any questions, Roshan?
Yeah, none so far.
Okay, you are comfortable with the syllabus and approach, right?
Yeah. I'm comfortable with both the syllabus and the approach.